Welcome to this episode of the Strong Kind Podcast. This episode is with Darcy Arnold. Darcy is a physio out of the UK. She's a CrossFitter, she's a coach, she's a rehab practitioner. She's just honestly a super cool human being. We had a really great conversation oriented around rehab, recovery, training, and a lot of like mindset and belief. Darcy's doing a lot of cool things, and she puts out really good content on Instagram, and then she has a clinic and helps athletes online. Again, loved this conversation. You can follow her at DA Sports Therapy with 2 Y's. I'll post this in the show notes on Instagram. Check out her page, give her a follow, and I really appreciate her coming on. If you are an athlete or a busy parent or somebody who just loves to get fit and work on, their training, please check me out at dr.dave.strengthandkindness on Instagram. If you need help, if you have any questions around rehab, training, performance, mindset, please reach out to me. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. Thanks so much for being here. Peace. I just asked Darcy like if she was like a eat to live or a live to eat type of person because it's 7 o'clock in the United States where I'm at, and it's 1 o'clock where Darcy's at. So she just ate lunch, and she said it was really boring. And I said, "Are you an eat to live type of person or a live to eat?" So like, you go through phases. How, you're trying to gain, you're trying to eat more, not trying to gain weight necessarily, but like, tell me more.
Well, because train and attempt to compete, I'm currently trying to eat a bit more to have more like fuel and energy. And one of my friends helps us with like nutrition, and he basically told me last night that I need to eat more.
Yeah.
So he was like, "This is what I'm like. Your calories is like not a target to stay under." He's like, "I want you to hit it every day," and I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
So yeah, my chicken skewers and rice every lunchtime. I actually really enjoy it. I think it's like I'm a bit autistic, and I actually really like the repetition.
I think my wife gets bored of meals, but I could eat. I think when I was in physio school, I had like tuna and rice like every day for lunch.
I've gone for a tuna and rice phase.
Yeah, and like, I had like it with like hot sauce and I'm like, yeah, it's good. I think what helps me the most is um just like stability in what I'm eating. Like it's the same plan. When I can have that, it's great. But most of the time I don't, and or just I don't intentionally. And then like we go get ice cream on a regular basis. We're like, all right, let's go. So that's like an extra 500 calories depending on what I'm doing there. But I think it's one of those things. I think fueling in general, like, man, it is an interesting conversation. Some people, it's just very like, yeah, okay, it's food, and I kind of I eat to live. And some people, it's like pulling teeth with them, like either trying to eat enough, like, hey, you run 20 miles a week and you do 4 lifting sessions and you're barely ticking, enough to fuel yourself and feel good.
Yeah.
And some people, it's like, yeah, you're just eating straight up too much for what your goal is, which is to improve your body composition, right?
I know. Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like my partner, he's gone through like a really long phase of like cutting a little bit whilst trying to like eat well and still be able to train. And now he's on 4,000 calories a day plus. Like he's struggling, and he likes to eat, and he's like, I've never struggled before. But we have like, this is, he's gonna laugh at me for bringing this up. We have the same meal every night, and we have for the last 18 months, to the point where all our friends ask us to make it for them when they come over. The kids ask us to make it for them every time they're here. And so we neither of us get bored, which is a problem. Well, not a problem, but like we've eaten this
What
meal.
is the meal?
I've let it up. I've built it up now.
Yeah, you
So,
did.
I'm gonna paint the picture. So we have cubed potatoes in the bottom. So we used to have like 400 grams each, and now he has like 300, and I have 250. And then we season them with like paprika, cumin, garlic. Tastes great. Pop them in the air fryer. Make sure they're nice and like crispy on the outside, nice and soft on the inside. And then when they come out, we get 2 chicken thighs that have like we put like shawarma seasoning on them. Come out, loads of fat in the chicken thighs, tastes so good. Put that on top with some cheese. And then the mayo and sriracha comes back out again, goes on top, and then we just put loads of veg on it. So it's like cucumber, tomatoes, lettuce. And then the two things that I always have in the cupboard, pickled red cabbage and jarred olives. And that is the meal every single night.
That's pretty wild that you've done that. I mean, it sounds delicious, like, but like every single night for 18 months is pretty wild. Like, like I'm sure there's a little bit of bandwidth in there, but I love
if you
that.
go out, but like if people come over, like our friends, they want it. They want to eat it because they'll try and make it at home, and they'll be like, "Oh, I didn't make it as well as you guys. Can you make it for us?" I'm like, "Oh my god, yeah."
So Darcy, like, I mean, this is just like Instagram serendipity. I like saw one of your posts, and I think I've seen multiple of your posts, but I honestly I gotta like manage my physio feed. Otherwise it drives me crazy. I love your content because it's not, hey, sagittal plane or like, you know, frontal plane training, like, and nothing wrong with that, but like it fucking drives me nuts, right? But like, you know, even just your the post that you put up recently is just about the Harada grid. Like I literally just hit your robot and you want the grid, like I said I want this because I think my bias is towards the fact that the physical interventions we implement with people matter, and they need to be intelligent, and they need to be specific. But really, like, if people get their freaking mindset right about this stuff, and like the their why and their habits, and they really do like kind of the deep work, the rehab process is fucking not that bad. You know, like, well, I mean, even myself, like, I've had moans and groans the past like 3 or 4 months, and I've gone to like therapy, talked to my therapist. I have managed I have not been an idiot, which I usually am about my own training, which is I push too hard, too often, and I beat myself up about, oh, like, why isn't this movement feeling good? And I like try to fix it. But then I realized like the movement's not feeling good because like I'm not tolerating this, and I need to just be okay with adjusting, right? And it's easier to say that to another person than it is to say it to yourself.
I have other people tell me. I can't tell myself. I think that's like kind of part of it. Like I always say to people, like, I'm not the best practitioner in the world. Like, you know how you were just joking that my content isn't like sagittal plane this, frontal plane that. Like, obviously, I know.
Maybe it is. I haven't scrolled down super far.
I know enough, and I always will continue to learn. But I'm a massive believer that like you can have like the best rehab in the world, and if your practitioner is not like good with people and understands how to speak to people differently depending on different things, and like have difficult conversations and things like that, then you're not really going to progress. And then on the other end of that is that you can have all of these things and have some like really subpar rehab, and you'll actually have a much better result. And I think that's something that my thing will always be like, I'm a people person. I'll always work on like having a more clinical mindset. I'm very, very dyslexic. I have very bad ADHD. It's really difficult. So like I'm trying to use my unfair advantage, which is people.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you like, it sounds cheesy, but if we and you were in person, like, I feel like I would gravitate towards your energy because you just seem like chill and cool, right? Like, I mean, like, I think that's the thing about our profession. Whether you're in the States, whether like, if you can be really, really, really smart, but if you can't connect with another human, like nothing's gonna land, right? And that's almost where Instagram maybe levels the playing field a little bit, because it's like, well, you can just put out a bunch of content and people will be like, oh, I've consumed all their content, and like, sweet, this guy's really good at tendinopathy rehab or something. But that also tends to like, it really hits people who are really freaking neurotic, and they think all of their problem I've done some consults with people who have like gone down the tendinopathy rehab. I'm like, it doesn't mean that you don't need good targeted or specific rehab, but also you probably just need to fucking continue training and enjoy your life a little bit more, and
Yeah.
not let your Achilles tendon dictate your whole fucking life. You know what I mean? And like it's that's the trap for a lot of people. Is like they've made this problem the center of everything, when it's like you can still train your upper body, you can still ride the bike, you can still do all these things, but you're so focused on like basically finding some like linchpin thing that
Mm.
I don't think it exists, right?
No, it's the same thing as like I always try and tell people this, as I don't do it either. Is like that balance that you're trying to find doesn't exist. Like you're either gonna be like on the side of like I'm gonna prioritize rehab more, I'm gonna prioritize my training, eating healthy, or I'm gonna prioritize spending time with my friends, my family, making memories, and those things. Are like, I'm not gonna just like whatever 10,000 calorie day, never gonna do my rehab again. But just like the priorities are always shifting, and I try and like always say to people, that's okay, life happens. I'm not going to tell you off for not doing rehab. You just like it's your life. If you're not going to prioritize it, it just means you're spending more time doing it. So, and if you don't want to spend time doing it, then you put it up on the priority list. But I think that people just exactly that. If you are super neurotic about your rehab, I end up saying to you most of the time, like you need to go find like a non-active like hobby. You need,
Yeah,
you need something
yeah.
because your avenues that you use as a coping mechanism, whether that's healthy or not, I'm not a therapist, are not there anymore, and you're struggling to cope because you.
I'll say it. It's not healthy to have a singular, especially like imposing and putting a bunch of physical pressure on yourself. Like
Mm,
it's 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 not like I kind of go into like you need something for your mind, you need something for your body, and you need something for your spirit in your soul type of
mm,
thing. Um, and I will say too, I don't really have a good soul or spirit hobby right now. I have a young kid. I have another young kid on the way. I run my own business. I love to train, but it really kind of becomes like this is the only thing I got going on right now, and so you just like try to hammer yourself with certain things, or
mm.
um, and like you mentioned there, it's like a a meetup with your friends. How old are you, Darcy?
I'm 27.
Gosh, to be young. I just turned 38, and like it's just I'm just in a different season. Like I'm married, I have a kid, and when I was 27, it was like when I was finishing physio school, and I was around like some of the best fucking people. I was around people I loved. We played sports all the time, and like my recipe was, oh, I get to play sports all the time, I get to go to the gym, and I get to learn. And like now at this stage, how do I create that recipe again? Especially when I'm not necessarily around a bunch of friends. It's well, I got to go play with my little kid, and I have to enjoy. And I think I'm gonna try to take up piano. I need something like that to like you know engage my brain and not just
Good,
kill
make your
myself.
brain work. It's really
What?
good. So
Yeah.
make your brain work. It's what we need to do. I
Do
mean, I
you
say
do you do you have something like that, like
well,
a mental
I would
hobby?
love to have something like that, but I currently own two businesses with not that many members of staff, so I am very busy.
What's your second business?
I own a CrossFit gym.
So and then you do like rehab and then you do the CrossFit gym. Okay.
Yeah,
Is
so
that are
we
those
have
the two businesses?
pardon?
Are those the two businesses like a rehab or and then a CrossFit oriented?
Yeah,
You're living
so
the dream.
I am that when it's going right, it goes real good. When it's not going so good, it doesn't go great. It's just when lots of things are changing all at once. I'm trying to
Hmm.
be in two places at once. It's a bit difficult, but I have a gym, and then my clinic, my physical clinic, is in the gym.
Hmm.
And then obviously I work a lot online as well. But yeah, I am living the dream. I have a really cool job, and my partner, so we own the gym together. He has like a corporate job as well, and he's always just like, I just want to hang out in the gym all day with you guys. And I'm like, yeah, it's actually not a bad life, apart from in the winter when it's freezing cold.
Hmm.
Um, I get to spend all day with my mates. So uni really, obviously, it's not my uni friends anymore, but my life is not that
Yeah.
much different.
Yeah. I love that. What are the challenges? What are the anxieties? I took my dog to doggy daycare and I got coffee, and when I was standing in line I'm like, shit, what's my like, August, how's like my money gonna be? Like what's gonna like you just start stewing on these problems, right? So what are your angst?
Well, that's I'm not technically, well, I am kind of employed, but I really earn anything because I put everything back into my businesses. So it's my poor partner, bless his soul. He is our income at the moment because we both believe that, like, we want to put everything back into these businesses. So it's a bit like that as well, making sure you've got enough coming in to pay everyone. That's always a struggle. All the problems tend to come all at once as well. So when you're dealing with one thing, it's another. And then my partner has two children as well, and it's the summer holidays at the moment, and our gym manager's on holiday. So I'll let you work that one out. So it's been a really stressful week this week. But he'll be back on Monday. I'm very excited. So yeah, it's just, I think, just trying to juggle too many things. I think that's what everyone's problem is. We're trying to shove too much into 24 hours.
Yeah.
But, when you don't, luckily, like, owning your own business is okay. And, like, I'm self-fueling that, and I don't mind being busy because it's all going back into my pocket. It's all going back into my business. I'm making it bigger for the community that I love, not a community that someone's, like, telling me to work for. And yeah, it's just a busy time.
Like I think you just mentioned, like the conundrum of like modern day life is how, like, how much, and it's a good thing, but like how much you could potentially do. Like, uh, I have I have this book out right here. I have this book out right here. I have Louis Gifford right here. I have like 40 books, Darcy, that
I can see them behind you.
I can't read. I can't read them all, right? And then I just keep buying books, right?
Mm.
But it's like an analogy for like, damn, all the stuff that even I just opened up a physical space. I was just training people and coaching out of my garage. And my wife's a physio too. She does like pre and postnatal, and we moved into like a 1,600 square foot. It's not super big, but it's like 4 times as big as my garage was. And it's like there's so many things I want to do, right, and could potentially do, but like I kind of have to figure out like the one next thing that's gonna like grow stuff and focus on that, because if I divide and try to divide all my energy and attention into a bunch of different stuff, it may still work, but it's like it's different, right? And it's a
It'll be
good.
slower. Like, that's the thing. I think it's like the analysis paralysis where you're sat there and you're like, there is so many options, but that's almost the problem, is that you don't have all the time in the world, which is like where I'm currently at now. And my partner's really good at being, as he likes to say, time efficient, and I'm not. And I do just try and get everything done. And I'm learning very quickly. Well, not actually that quickly because it's been a while. But you got to work smart. You can't work hard. And like, it's better done than perfect. All these things that you just got to get on with. And sometimes when it's your own business, you just want it to be good all the time, and you just got to get it done.
Well, I just like, I think one of the things that I kind of lost my way on was just the fact that really all you're doing is you are trying things and you are seeing what happens and then you are making adjustments, right? And like when it's like no stakes, like when you're just kind of like, even like Instagram, and I think there's a lot of people who like struggle with like putting out their content or putting out content for their business and XYZ. But I think like when it's like low stakes to no stakes, it's like, oh, just put something out and see what it does, and then but as you like grow, you almost feel like the stakes are bigger, and that trying or that experimentation seems more costly. And it might actually be more costly. It's usually not. It kind of depends, but like I think that's the game that gets hard, is like you mentioned, better done than perfect. Like a lot of us really become like better perfect than never actually fucking out there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's definitely something I've noticed with social media. And I try and, like, I'm very much a believer that, like, social media is simply a tool. And if you get your ego wrapped up in it, then that's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
And I work with other clinicians who are trying to like branch out into this way. And I always say to them, like, I would rather have 1,000 people who are willing, wanting to listen, keen, eager, than have, like, 100,000 people, and you got to find those 1,000 out of those hundred
Hmm.
thousand.
Hmm.
And it's like it's a tool. Like, I don't want to be here and be famous. I want to help as many people as I can, and the content you use is getting those people there. And so I
Yeah.
try and remind myself of that when you do have something that quote unquote flops, and you're like, this is gonna be great, everyone's gonna love this, it's gonna kick off, and then you post it and it doesn't. And just reminding yourself that like that's okay, because the people who are seeing it are the people who you want to see it, even though you do tend to look at the numbers a little bit as you grow. It's hard not to, but I do try.
Yeah, yeah. I think like I mean, you're 100% right. It's usually an ego problem. We're like thinking we need to do X, Y, Z, and we're thinking that like we're almost like bigger than we are, quote unquote, or like I don't know. I think it's like just yeah, it is a tool, and you're just trying to like put out stuff. Like I was talking to like a mentor, and he's like, one of the best things people can do is just like not prostitute themselves to like the social media trends or crazes in ways that like, he's a therapist, like he's a mental health therapist, and he's like, I could post 30-second like tips, but like that's not how I like to educate. That's not how I like to go about doing stuff. And so I just haven't played that game. And have I maybe financially suffered for it? Or maybe, but also like when I get people who want to work with me, they are better suited to work with me, right? And I see that a lot of people doing that when it comes to like being a PT, like being a physio, being like a trainer. It's like you're trying to like cater to people, and then you just get people who aren't necessarily gonna vibe. If you try to cater to the world, you're gonna get people who like they're not the people that you're gonna actually. They're not your sweet spot, right?
They're not the people who you feel like you do your best work with.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
I feel like it's like dating a little bit when you get clients. And as the years have gone on, I've got pickier and pickier, because I think exactly what you just said. We have such a small amount of time and energy, and I just think I want to pour it into the people who want it, instead of like pouring it into people who don't really care. And I think that's fine, but there'll be someone else out there that will be better suited to work with you. And it's getting to the. I remember when I was first graduated, I literally would see anyone, because I was like, I need some money, I need to see anyone, I
yeah,
don't care. Like, and
yeah,
you learn really quickly how it feels to literally draw blood from a stone, and someone who just does not care. Like you can care so much, and like it just zaps you of all your energy, like your soul leaves your body. And so over the years, I just kind of learned the people who I like to work with are people who like me.
yeah.
um and then you like exactly like this, you have a nice conversation with them, they understand you because they value the same things as you do, and then all of a sudden they feel great, you feel good that they feel great. It's good for everyone.
What does one of the posts that caught my eye was essentially I think you were talking about the study about like belief in the process. I'm trying to find it. I can't remember, but like just like, it's just oriented around like, you know, like it's not how to be disgusting and go to rehab. That was a good post. Like what was it? Here's what you need to know. Like, but I mean, I think where I'm going with this is like, what does it look like to work with you, and how is it maybe different from people's perceptions of like physio? Because we still have a lot of people's perception of like what physical therapy is type
Oh
of
my
thing.
God, I could talk about that all day. It's just, I feel like we're living back in like 40 years ago. We haven't evolved at all. Anyway, yeah, sorry, I cut you off there.
No, you
Working
can.
working with me, um, to be fair, I try and keep like a lot of people I think now are quite used to the online space and like working with
Mhm.
people in online capacity. But I do try and say to people like, look, me and you having a chat right now, exactly the same if you were in my clinic. Obviously, I'm at home right now. Exactly the same. You were in my clinic, sat on the sofa, and we were having a chat. And I think that, like what we were speaking about earlier, is just actually realizing that you're talking to a human being. You are not talking to an ACL rupture. You are not talking to a slap tear. Like, you are talking to a human being, and then speaking to them about like how does this affect you? Like, what about like this is so hard for you to deal with being injured? Is it because it's taken away your social aspect? Is it taken away part of your identity because you don't know who you are without being an athlete? Like, and I try and like break that down a little bit so that people can actually feel like there's a bridge to talk to me. I'm a big believer in like, you just need to be like, if you're honest with me, then I can help. Like, you're giving me the dots, I connect the dots for you. And so I always say, like, if something's not going right, tell me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not proud. I am happy. Like, I think this is where the whole ego thing comes in. And I'm always happy to learn because I know that I'm not the best. So if someone's like, oh, actually, I don't really feel like this isn't really doing this, and I've done this before, and I'm not going to go, oh, actually, you don't know what you're talking about because I'm the practitioner here. I'll be like, okay, cool. That's actually really good information. Let me go away, have a little read, and see if there's something better I can find for you. And go away and do that for them. And the other thing that I always talk to people about is that I don't know everything, and I'm very honest with that. So sometimes I had someone recently, and I would describe them as having their leg put in a blender. Like, that's the kind of vibe we had when they came to me. And I was like, look, I've never dealt with something like this before. I will do everything in my power to help you. I've got loads of people who are very good at their jobs that I can like go and chat to, but I will keep you in the loop of like basically what's happening. We're a team. And that's what I kind of try and like drive with people quite a lot. Like, this is a team, like we're a collaborative effort. This is not student teacher relationship. And I think people quite like that because it's very authentic, it's very honest, and they kind of feel like they've got a teammate rather than they've got someone bossing them around telling them what to do. And I'd say that is, I will be shameless with this, but that's why I'm good at my job. Not because I know all the latest studies that have come out and all these other, like you saying, the difference between frontal plane and sagittal plane rehab for shoulders. Like, that also is important. But I think massively what you said earlier, if you can get your mindset right, if you can get your sleep right, your fueling right, all the stuff that we know is like the building blocks of a life, essentially, then rehab comes on top of that. If you can get those right, rehab can pretty much be anything that you do consistently in, like, a certain parameter, and you'll get the result that you want. So yeah, that's basically how working with me works.
No, I think like I resonate as a practitioner, as like uh an athlete, as like somebody who I would consider myself to be like a humanist in our field. Like, it's like because there's so many different ways to reach a goal, right? And yes, like you can't, if somebody does tear their ACL, like you can't neglect like building up their quadriceps post surgery and throughout the recovery. You can't. Like, that's like negligence at this point in our, like, the fact that there's still people out there who probably are telling people to avoid the knee extension machine in ACL rehab type stuff is still mind-blowing to me. But also it's like it's the pendulum always swings, and maybe it's just like social media, but it's hey, like being a PT should be like a sniper where you just know how to like get after that one thing that they need type of thing. It's like, no, like, and I really also think if your realm is rehab, or if your realm is like training, like there's a tremendous amount of overlap, right? There's a tremendous amount of overlap, and like you said, the first things you touch on are like, what's the person's identity, and like why are they sitting in front of you? Like, what makes them interested in like whatever your approach is? Because you've put out content to like, and you've marketed yourselves to like, or yourself to, like get the client that you think, or the people that you feel like you're gonna be really most helpful to, and like that's the stuff that usually, like, when people feel seen, heard, and understood, it's pretty easy to be like, all right, this is like the plan of attack. This is what you're. It's trickier when you're like trying to be the guru and telling people like this is the plan without like their like. Honestly, so much of my job has become just being like a curator for like how people want to train, and being a soundboard, and being okay, this is what you have going on. Let's try this, let's do this, let's see what happens over the next couple weeks, and then like adjust again, right? Why do people struggle with this stuff though so much?
What, the human side of it and helping people, or what side do you mean?
I think like, why do people struggle? I mean, we could take that in a variety of ways. Um, you're an athlete. You have a post about just your injured athlete, your injured character arc, right? And obviously, pain is a threat. Injury is a threat to the system. It's a threat to our identity, right? But I was just even, I think even some of my woes here is, Like, okay, I'm 38 now. 3 years ago or 4 years ago, 4 years ago, I think, I tore my meniscus grappling, and then like shortly after that, I got back and I played some rugby, but I felt like ass because I hadn't moved like that in like 10 years, and I just
Yeah.
everything was like I just my calf was tweaking, like I tweaked my calf, and I just like I was physically stronger and I was probably hitting people harder, but I just could not take like trying to play rugby again. Um, then I got back and I was like, all right, I'm gonna build up some sprinting, like get back into sprinting again. Tweaked my groin, like that sucked. It took me like a long time to like get it where my groin was feeling right. And then last year, I was playing basketball in the morning and I came down from a rebound on a dude's ankle and I like inversion ankle sprained so bad like that. I mean, and that took about like it took 9 to 12 months to like get my ankle right again. So I'm in this injured character arc and it fucking blows. But it's not it none of those things were really age related. They were purely was I prepared? Was I being egotistical in what I mean the ankle injury was just bad luck. Um, but like the groin and just the feeling prepped to play rugby, and even the grappling was like I just wasn't prepared. I was maybe strong and capable, but I wasn't prepared. But my ego, in a way, was like, wow, shit. Am I fucked? Like what's wrong?
Yeah, I think the ego is one thing I do end up having the difficult conversations with people quite a lot with. And when people aren't, I don't think that you maybe the same, ever have an issue with people not doing rehab or not doing exercise. Like the issue is always pulling back and being like, whoa, okay, no, 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 no. And some people will be like, yeah, so I did this, and go out, did everything that I put on like the do not do right now list.
Yeah.
And sometimes I sit there and I'm like, okay, talk me through like what led you to that, because they just want to do that. And so then I try and educate people a little bit and just be like, right, this is why I've said this, because now you've crossed the line. I'm going to tell you what the cost is. And sometimes it's a bit like fear tactics and just saying like, do you actually want to get better? Because if you do, then like we need to listen to me. And if you don't, then that's absolutely fine because you're an adult and you don't
Yeah.
have to listen to me.
Yeah.
And I think that is that at that time people are like, oh, okay then. And I'm like, yeah, you actually got to listen. So do you find that after giving people maybe a little bit of understanding and context, they tend to do as, I don't want to sound really bossy here, but they tend to do as they're told.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that that's because you give them a bit of background. I don't feel like I want to do something that, and this is probably because I'm very stubborn. You're telling me to do something that I don't want to do, and don't do something that I do want to do. I'm just going to do it. And sometimes I say to people, like they have something booked in, or let's say a marathon or a competition, and they're not 100% right. I know the athlete in me would just be like, I'm just going to go. And so sometimes I'm just like, this is the cost if we do it, and this is the cost if we don't. If you do it, go away, do it. We'll damage control when we get back. But understand, this will delay everything. And
Yeah.
a lot of the times they're like, oh, actually, I don't really feel like it's worth doing it. And I'm like, okay, cool. I haven't had to be mean and tell you you're not doing it. You kind of come to that decision on your own. So I think it's like, you have kids and you're like, it's much easier if they think that they made the decision.
Yes. Yes.
So you're giving them an A and B, so they think they're deciding, but they're not, because you're giving them an A and a B.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like that. And I think, yeah, just giving people a little bit of context. And I always say to people when they're on a call with me, like, I want you to understand what's going on, because in the future, the likelihood is when I have a lot of chronic issues that come to me, this is probably going to crop up again. And then you'll know what's going on and how to deal with it. And then if those things don't work, then you can come and see me again.
Yeah.
But I want you to feel like you're in the driver's seat, because I feel like in this industry, there is so much fear mongering.
Yes.
And people are terrified. So now when they feel pain, they're like, oh my God, I must go see someone else. I can't possibly be in control of my own body. And not having like bodily autonomy is really scary. And I just think that I don't want people to feel like that. Realistically, there is very few situations where you are in such immediate danger that you need to go to a hospital. And there are so many things that you can do yourself. And so it's just teaching people like the symptoms that you should be looking out for and the symptoms that, you want to avoid. And like I keep coming back around to it, but it's just giving them a bit of education, because I don't know why people in 2026 are still telling you, if you do that one more time, you're going to be paralyzed. You'll never walk again. You can't see into the future. I don't care how many degrees you've got. You cannot ever make that assumption.
Well, it's just that the fear and negativity bias is so powerful, right? Like, I mean, I think about this, and also people's narratives about their body, like, and just how, I mean, you like, okay, because we even did it. We've both done it. Like, you diagnosed yourself with dyslexia and like some form of autism. I probably would do the same, right? Like, but like we look for explanations, but usually like the human body is a fucking miraculous, but it's also like kind of chaotic in a good way. Like, we're trying to almost like put it in a box and take like, a data driven approach, but that also just makes people more neurotic about the data that they're getting, right? Like, and you can't slice it down. Like, think of Darcy at her happiest and most fulfilled and having the most fun. It's not because of single pieces of data. It's because like you were being a human who was in the right just frame of mind, in the right context, and enjoying, basically like the here and the now, right? Whereas like so many people, like, it sucks. You get tendinopathy. It's gonna take 6 months. It might get better, but also it feeling better. I will say this. I think if you are less afraid of that thing throughout the course of rehab, it's way better. If you accept this is going to take some time, what it needs is some load, and I need to ride these waves and be consistent and not like be an asshole to myself. It's a way better recovery process than what a lot of people do, which is just constantly go through like this fear cycle of shit, what's wrong? Like, okay, oh, this sucks, right? And that's why information can be so powerful, right? And it can be perspective and paradigm shifting for people, but there's still so many people out there who I don't know if they see it, I don't know if it's conscious, maybe they think they're helping people, but by being the dictator, they get that hit of I'm in charge. And it just usually leaves the person scared and like not
I know,
freaking
it makes
feeling
me so
good.
sad. I hear so many people who come and see me will have had like some sort of horrible experience with someone. Unfortunately, it's more than likely we have a national health service in the UK called the NHS, and it is actually filled with people who just want to help people, but there are also people in there who are probably not going in with the best intentions. They're all really burnt out. They're not feeling great. And I've had to end up like sending quite, I'd say, bitchy letters and emails to doctors to like basically advocate for my clients, because I'm hearing what they've been told, and I'm like, and they're like, coming back from appointments in tears because they're so terrified. And I just think like, what universe is this making anyone feel better?
I think that was the post, that I can't remember which one it is. They're all such good covers here, Darcy. But it's basically like, the thing that it was that you're citing like the study where people basically believe that they're gonna get a good outcome. I don't remember if you remember this.
Oh, I know which one it is. Let me find it.
So, but like, I've been just with my own shit. I've just realized that, like, I'm a cynical, and pessimistic person. I don't want to describe that. Like, I'm very, very optimistic with other people, but like the state of the world, like I'll just be like, oh fuck Instagram, like oh the news, like, which to some degree I think by design, like the news and Instagram, and to some extent like kind of like the narrative of a lot of stuff, it is like negative. It's because negative shit gets your attention. Like. Yeah. The news isn't reporting about all the like the kids who did a good job in school or just good stuff all the time. It's like, no, somebody outside got murdered. It's like, damn, all right, I'm scared now. But that stuff seeps into our subconscious or our unconscious mind. And it's the same thing with if you've been told that like you're never going to get back to XYZ, like hopefully you have well, fuck that, I'm going to figure it out. But still, it has this effect on like it's a nocebo. And that nocebos are vicious cycles, right? Our body, like when you are rehabbing something and it's going good, but that first sign of it's not going good, people immediately think they did something wrong or something's broken, or that because that they've had a flare up, quote unquote, that they're back to square one. And it's just usually not the case, right? But like the belief aspect, like that post, amongst a lot of the other things you do, is just like, yeah, like, but you're capable. Like you just have to like do the work and trust yourself, right? And get help, right? Because that's also, humans need other humans, right?
Oh my God, do you not think that in this day and age, we're all just craving human connection?
Oh my God, yeah.
Just you don't get it, and no one. That's what another thing. Like if you can just be another person who can like give them a bridge, then that's very powerful. But yeah, the study that you're talking about was actually on the post that you didn't think it was. It was something. It was a meta-analysis of I think 21 studies.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see it because my captions are white on a white background. And I
Is
think
it
was
how to
about-
become disgustingly good at rehab? Was that the caption? Or
Yeah.
That's the one. Okay, I kept
It
looking
was-
at that, but I didn't want to pull it up if it was like gonna talk
It
about it.
was, yeah, I remember it was 21 studies out of the 21, 18. 18 out of 21. I don't even know what that is as a percentage, but pretty
Pretty
good.
high. We'll take it. We'll say
And it
it's good.
said that having a positive outlook on your treatment changes the outcome, and they were like related to positive outcomes of that, and that sometimes can also be attributed to people having like a bit more clarity about what's going on.
Yeah.
So then they don't expect something that like, was never actually realistic for them. For example, if you're an amputee, you're not going to grow your leg back in rehab, but like understanding that and actually being really happy with going like, okay, this is the goal. And if your goal's hit, then that's a positive outcome and you're going to feel really good about that. And so, sometimes when people come in and they have those chronic issues, and it's really easy for someone to go, yeah, we're going to get you made, like you're going to be stronger than you've ever been. Or going, look, I don't know how strong you're going to get. This might be the best thing we've ever done. And we don't know, the great thing is we don't know how far it can go. And then on the other side, it may not be as good as like you want it to be, but it'll be better than it is now. And so then all of a sudden you've given them like a bit of perspective. And then when you move forward, they're like, oh, okay, that is what she said was going to happen. And it has happened. So honestly, actually I think it helps you out a lot more than you think that it does. People want to like pretend to be all this like be all know all guru. And I just think if you're actually just a human being, they're like, oh, okay, cool. I basically got someone who's on my team who's looking out for me.
Yeah. Well, just kind of going along with that, it's like our imagination is so freaking powerful. Like, you ever have like something going on in your body and you're almost like imagining what like it could be, and like that could be like really good. Like sometimes I just have my dad had hip replacements in his like 50s, and then my brother had a hip replacement at 40, and I don't have the best like hip mobility, and some of it is like, well, like hip mobility, and like I can squat, like if you watch my squat, like I can do these things pretty well, but like they feel sticky and they don't feel great. And sometimes I like imagine like what's going on in there, and it's like, oh, like don't do that. Like, but I think when people, and myself included, when we can like use our imagination positively, it's super powerful, right? But like so often we're like using our, like people in rehab are like imagining like,
yeah, worst
my
case.
shit's busted, like it's not good. It's like, no, like it's actually fine. Like, and like one time I explained to somebody that like having a rotator cuff tear doesn't mean that like it's like literally like torn like you would think of a rope. It's like, no, it's like literally what they're saying is often that there's like, if this is your rotator cuff like this, they can see like, there's a little bit of like a fray in it or some bullshit like that. It's such a terrible way to talk about it and try to explain it, right? I'm like, because like they could lift their arm fully above their head, but they had like on imaging, like they had a rotator cuff tear. I'm like, well, all that means is like that thing's still working. We just have to make it stronger, make you more capable, make you understand and help yourself modify and adjust, right? But his imagination was, oh, my shoulder is fucked up, right?
Honestly, I don't know. You know, when you're a kid and you're like, when you're a kid, your imagination's so broad and so like it doesn't change when you're an adult. It's just the things you imagine are just more boring.
Yeah.
Um,
Or just like total chaotic and you're screwing yourself over, right?
yeah, I mean, I'm very much that person as well. So when people are coming to me talking to me about it, I'm like, I get you because I am you. But like I grew up in a very spiritual household, and so I'm very open-minded to a lot of things, which I think a lot of people in like any sort of scientific healthcare Western healthcare practice is not. And so when people come to me with like this random stuff they've been doing, I'm like, that's so cool. Did you feel like that worked for you? And they're like, yeah, it did. And I'm like, I'm not going to patronize you just because
Yeah.
science doesn't prove it. All I say to them is like, okay, cool, right? You continue doing that. It's not hurting them. And we're going to add in these things that I know are going to help. So those two things together, that's great. Like you're a success story waiting to happen. But yeah, our minds and our bodies are that I could go. I'm not a nerd. Well, I am a nerd about some things, but like this is what I could nerd out on. I did my whole dissertation at university on the psychological effect of injury
Hmm.
on like people, and just it's wild how it's like I don't know what it's called now, but I learned about it at uni, and everyone knows about the study where you had like a group of people who had a disc pathology and a group of people who didn't know if they had disc pathology. Everyone got imaged, and the people who didn't know that they had one, they were asymptomatic, like then start producing symptoms, and it's just like that. The only difference between that before and after was your knowledge of knowing that what was going
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
and it's just like, is that not the more like the deeper you go down that road, the more you realize is like we don't know anything. Everything we know is just strong opinion, unless like
Yes.
it is black and white. But like you
Yeah.
say, there's so with healthcare and human beings, there's so many moving parts. It's impossible to ever have like two people who are exactly the same to compare against because
Yes.
we are messy. That's the whole. But we're supposed to be messy.
Well, and
Um,
like knowledge is power, but also like knowledge, like I want to unthink some of the things I have thinked. Like, like, oh man, I honestly feel like my body felt better when I wasn't scrutinizing certain things because I've learned this information, right? And some of it's kind of just untraining that critical, like, because in the like I wasn't I was 26 when I went to physio school. I was like a trainer, and I like worked in a hospital before, and I was like almost gonna go to med school, and then like, but I didn't know jack squat like about like the stuff that we learn in like physio school and whatnot. But I did kind of just have this sense that like a lot of stuff would just get better
yeah,
when it came to like training. And like a lot of stuff did get better. Like, yes, I'm 12 years older than when I started PT school, and I do think my knowledge has been advantageous and helpful. Um, but particularly with like stuff that's like acute injury, but like the training niggles and groans and stuff, like a lot of that, like you just have to like not overdiagnose, just modify, be okay with working around the problem. But like there's just some things I just like wish I almost could like unfreaking learn a little bit. Now I also think it's been helpful and like I don't waste time doing like stuff that really isn't that useful. Uh, but like what you alluded to earlier is like there's stuff as a human that just like feels good. And for some reason, and I've bashed on certain things in the past. Like I'm really not. I'm like kind of agnostic about stuff that makes you feel good. Go do it, right? Cool. But
yeah,
also, it's like if you're telling me that you're spending 45 minutes foam rolling when your goals are X, Y, Z, and you're foam rolling because you're trying to like fix something. I'm like, let's talk through this through. Like let's do some. Now, if you're telling me you're going to a Yin yoga class on Saturday nights or Sunday nights because it helps you just totally relax and fend off the Sunday scaries and XYZ. I'm like, sweet, that's awesome. And you're in community at all that jazz, right? I had a question somewhere and then I just kept talking. Sorry, Darcy. uh, but, well, no, this is what it is. Like, tell me about you and like what you train for, why you do this stuff, why you're passionate about it. You can give me your full arc, or you can give me the abbreviated version, whatever you want to do.
well, as in like the way I train, like CrossFit and stuff like that now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was at uni, I I just didn't really care. I just was there for some fun, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And someone said to me, "Oh, you should go try and row." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And where I was like somewhere that was like a testing facility for like a program, and I got on it because I'm tall, I got a long wingspan, and I was strong and I was fit. So they put
How
me
tall
on.
are you?
I'm 5'10".
Okay. Okay. It's hard to know on Instagram or anything like that. Okay, so cool.
I was actually I was the minimum height to get on the program. So all the girls who were there were like much bigger than me. Anyway, so I was at uni. I was training as a rower for, I can't remember how long it is now, but it was really intense training. There was multiple sessions a day. You really you got one day off per week, and there'll be like an optional session on that day as well. And if you didn't do the optional session, it'd be like, why didn't you do the optional session?
Yeah, where were you yesterday?
Yeah, it wasn't really optional. And obviously, as I was at uni, I was learning all these things about the body, and I kept having really, really, really bad back pain. And the guy who I would go and see, it was a very good physio, and he was like, "Yeah, you're doing too much too soon." So I've gone from basically just being like a really sporty girl who'd done loads of stuff growing up, like athletics, running, you name it. I had horses my whole life, so I was riding. So I was always active, but I'd never actually like been in an elite environment. And so I went from 0 to about 1,000, got really injured. I ended up quitting because I just thought this is not worth it. Like it was really antisocial. It was not a good vibe. I was getting up really early in the morning to go and train. I was still trying to socialize in the evenings with all my friends. And if any of the squad used to find out, they would be a bit disappointed. The coaches would be disappointed if you'd gone out. It was like, you're not telling you to not go out, but like basically don't go out, don't catch a cold, don't do this, don't do that. And it was just like when you're 18, being told what to do when you're supposed to be having fun, you just left home when your mum's been telling you what to do. Yeah. And so I ended up leaving, and I didn't really do anything for ages. And I kind of missed having that like sport to tie myself to. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I left university. COVID happened. I kind of did a little bit of stuff. Don't really like running that much. Tried it because it was obviously the only thing we could do. And then I found CrossFit. And there was a gym that was outside the clinic that I was working in, and we had to go and do like a mobility injury prevention session. Went in, I was teaching these people how to do the stuff, and they're like, "Yeah, we already do all of this." And I was like, "Okay, cool." Anyway, so the guy who owned the gym, he was like, "Come do a free session." I was like, "Sweet, I will." Did a free session, and I was basically like, "Have my money. I want, like, this is fun. I really like this. Is all the stuff I loved about like rowing, having like the camaraderie, working really hard, but like." I can come today and not come tomorrow, and no one's going to question where I was or what I was doing. Yeah. And by not having that makes you go more.
Yeah.
So then I ended up going more, and that was back in 2021, potentially. Yeah, it must be 2021. And then over time, I got asked to be a coach. So they were like running a course. They were like, "Do you want to be a coach?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Carried on training. I was coaching in the gym, and then the gym changed ownership. And then my friend owned the gym, and he was like, "Look, there's a space in the corner. Do you want your clinic there?" And I was like, "I don't really want to run a clinic." I was like, "I don't really know anything." So I've been working in rugby, not really in CrossFit at all. Working in loads of rugby clubs, going around the world doing different kind of tournaments. Was really into rugby. And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Like, why not? Like, that's a great opportunity. Why would I not do that?" And so I just decided to open my own clinic with like not really that much clinical experience. Worked in sport for 5 years, so I had enough in my toolkit, I felt. And then continued CrossFit, and then did more coaching. Ended up getting a coach myself because I realized really early on that if I wanted to work in CrossFit, where there was a massive gap in the market because no one knew how to fix us, this is where it gets a bit shallow, like Instagram, I was gonna have to be good at it because people aren't gonna take me seriously if I was a bit shit at it.
Yeah.
So I literally doubled down, trained every single day, trained through the winter when there's no heating in our gym. It's really cold here in the winter. And after, I feel like people see it now and they're like, "Oh, I wish I could do that." And I think it's been like 6 years in the making. This has been a long time of me pouring into it. And like, essentially, the reason I kept telling myself this is the reason I was paying for a coach is because it was going to help my business, and it has. But like ultimately, it has given me loads of friends and loads of people that you would never have met before. And I think that the reason that people like CrossFit athletes and specifically want to come and work with me is because I'm on the competition floor with you. You've probably competed next to me. Like, you get it, you know, I get it. And I can really like tap into that athlete mindset because I am one. And I find that that's a really easy way to like talk to people. But through all of this, I did experience a back injury, which is basically the reason that I left rowing. And through doing CrossFit, I remember when I started, it's really hard to remember now because it feels like I never had a problem. But I had to scale everything because I was so terrified that I was going to be in a flare up. I was going to be sore. I remember I didn't do deadlifts. I didn't do kettlebell swings. I didn't do anything overhead. I didn't do squats. Like, I didn't do rowing. Like, I didn't do any sort of hinge that I knew would set it off. And like slowly, bit by bit, I'd put some extra bits in. I'd do a kettlebell swing, but I just, you know, minimize the range. I'd do like something on the rowing machine. I would do some squats and I would just do it to a box. And like all of a sudden, you kind of forget that you have this injury, which is what I really like when I'm working with people. And they're like, oh my God, I forgot to do it. And I'm like, that's amazing because you're not even thinking about it anymore. And it kind of got to that point where I can use it as like, not as a selling thing, but I'm like, when I'm on a call with people, I tend to get a lot of back pain clients. Mm-hmm. And I say, you know, I got 2 bulge discs on my back. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be
experiences all the time. Experience is like the best connector. Like, I mean, I think some of it, my own experiences, like I wouldn't trust outside, like I wouldn't trust like a physio who like hasn't done jack shit in like 20 years, right? Like, and they could be really, really smart and they could kind of talk about the rehab process, but like just being able to connect via like, yeah, I've had this stuff going on and I've gotten better, right? Like like you said earlier, humans, like we've never been quote unquote more connected, but we want more and more connection, right? And just being like having these relatable stories, you know, goes a long freaking way. And you're also right, like doing the thing, I would say even if you're not that fucking good at it, it still goes a long way.
Just like, being consistent with it as well, like
being consistent, yeah,
having the hardships. And like I know that some people may agree and disagree with this. Like, I'm not good at CrossFit. I'm like, compared to the people
here's what I will say. You're probably good, but you look at like, you know, CrossFit has become so interesting.
I know, it's evolved so much.
I found CrossFit in 2008 and I loved it then. And I still think so much of like that foundational stuff that I was learning had an impact on me. It was very much like when I found CrossFit, it was the workout of the day on the main site. Yeah. And it might be go practice handstands for 30 minutes today, or it might be run a mile or do like Nancy or some one of those things, right? And now it's like it really is like, hey, we're gonna do the strength piece. And then the Metcon, and then the finisher. Like, it became like everything all at once, which is not bad or good, right? It's just different. But anyway, I digress. But like, you're good. You're just not like as good as probably you want to be, right?
This is the thing. Like, you punch up. It's the same thing with this job. It's the same with anything. And I think like the people who I spend my time around are, and this is what I want it to be. Like, I don't want to be the best in any room ever, because what are you gaining from that? And I love working with athletes who are really like up there, because it forces me to go produce my best work. It forces me to go learn more, to stretch the horizon, so that when it trickles down to everybody else, everyone benefits from it. Where like, and like I say, but by being like a decent level of a sport, or even being around that sport and being relevant for like, and talking to people about it all the time, I definitely think it helps your credibility, because people start to take you more seriously, and they're like, oh no, she's not hopping from one thing to the other. Like, oh, she's been in CrossFit for ages, and you know, she does this and she's done this and this and this. And it's just being consistent, and like you said before, and not hopping on what's hot right now and what's trending, and being like, this is who I am, these are the values that I stand for, and those will never change. I saw like some bit of content that's like, oh, I posted 4 years ago today, of like little baby me on my story talking about something I still agree with now, because it's being yourself and just people want that authenticity that they're not getting.
Well, and
Um,
like it's so you've mentioned this a couple times. It's like you're never gonna stop learning, but you also appreciate like you're not the best at, because that's one of the things that like it's such classic marketing bullshit to be like I'm the best. I'm the best. It's like no, you're fucking not. Like you're a good person or you're good at the thing you're doing, but like not you. I'm just saying like how marketers be like I'm the best in this area. It's like no, you've just carved out a niche, and then people do like resonate with I need to go to the best. But it's also usually like not the people I want who think they need like they're gonna go to the best manual therapist around me. And like nothing wrong with that, but like it's the intellectual humility to be like there's more to learn and I'm gonna stay curious about stuff, but a lot of things like haven't changed. There's really nothing new under the sun when it comes to
like
certain.
you build your values stay the same, but like the knowledge grows on those. And so like the basis of everything that you're saying kind of still comes, it's like echoing the same things that you've always been talking about, which I think is another thing that is makes you really credible to say things, is because you're like I've been, you not using and abusing, that's the wrong thing to say. I have been practicing what I preach for years, and I'm happy with the way that I do things, and I do them because of X, Y, and Z. And that's what people want. They just want someone who's sure of themselves, and they go, you come to me with a problem. My job is to go, this is because of this, this is and this. This is what we're gonna do.
Yep. Yep. Where are you going? Like what's your positive imagination for the future? What's like your vision for your future?
Um, I mean, for both my businesses, I love my clinic's like my proper baby because I had that from the start. Um, I currently have another clinician who works with me, and she's lovely, and she embodies everything with the clinic, and it's made me realize that like it's so amazing to have what I've been able to build and then give it to others to build on top of that. So I like helping people. Whether that is like in a physical like place like the gym, I luckily can grow my clinic as much as I want because I own the place in which it sits.
Mm-hmm.
But I would just love for like to get more practitioners who also align with all the same things that I do, and there's a lot of things that we've spoken about together, so that we can continue just helping people. And it doesn't have to just be like I don't just work with CrossFitters. It's just mostly people who recreational athletes, people who love being fit,
Mm-hmm.
just working with people like that. And the same for the gym. Like I love. No one goes into this job not wanting to help people. So I
Yeah.
feel like the answer is always like I just want to help more people and just find a way that I can do that and also still be able to be a human being on the side. That would be my ultimate goal, is to be able to have what we know we can't have, which is the balance of it all, and not have the fear at the start of the month that is it going to work out this month. Um, but yeah, I do just truly love what I do, even though it is the most stressful thing in the world, and it breaks your heart like no human could.
Yeah.
Um, I
Yeah.
genuinely would not change it. I just wouldn't.
I was mowing my lawn last night and I was just thinking about one of my clients who's she's so I mean like my business is oriented around like I am a trainer who is a physio, right? Like I want people to train for the long term, and I want them to see the success that comes with like kind of a vision for your long term health, right? You know, even like me, I've had these like moans and groans, but like my blood pressure when I went for my last checkup was like 110 over 70. So I was like, all right, like even though my body like I'm physically beat up, like at least like my cardiovascular system is doing pretty good, right? And I don't have the narrative that I just have started calling it old person syndrome. And this isn't this. It probably sounds derogatory, but I don't like. I had somebody comment on a post. It's like I'm turning 27. Thank you so much for this post. That like it like I'm like shit, son. Like you got so much in front of you, but a lot of people's narratives are like, oh, I'm 40, I'm too old to do X, Y, Z. And it's like, that's such bullshit, right?
I
Um,
know that I'm not 40, but when people say stuff like that, I'm like, when age starts becoming a problem, you're actually a lot older than you think that you're going to be before
exactly.
us coming in
I
issue.
mean, and It's like what you said. Like I was just mowing my lawn and I'm like thinking about like my client who's just she's got some shoulder like tendinopathy going on. Like it sucks. It's gonna take some while and it's frustrating because she really was like making some really good progress to her goals, and then like this bumped up and it's like you gotta modify and you have to take that lateral step. And my like I was like feeling it and I was like questioning whether I'm good at my job and doing all these things. And I said to myself, oh, like, dude, you just gotta get back to mowing the lawn. You know what I mean? And
Stop spiraling.
right, yeah, and and that's one of the things I just think you as a practitioner that cares about people and you want people and you're compassionate and you have to learn to manage your mind and get back to yeah, I was just telling myself a story, right? Um, and like you got to manage those stories. Like the reality of like business is like it's pretty simple, right? You have a service, you market the shit out of that service as best you can,
Yeah.
which a lot of people just kind of aren't willing to do, and then they don't understand why nothing grows, right? And then you do a good job as best you can with people that come in, and it will build. It like good things will grow. Yes, there's things you can do to improve some of those things, but like how you mentioned just that start of the month angst or how's it gonna go, it's like you just gotta trust it and you gotta like learn and do it again, right, over and over again, right?
I feel like there are some things that I'm learning this. I think I saw a video about it yesterday, and it's like there are some things that you just gotta not think about and just have some good faith. Like I can worry about the small little day-to-day things. This is literally what I posted yesterday. And the big things just take care of themselves. As long as you're
Yeah,
making sure all those like small little things are done throughout the day, like there is no reason why all these other things that you're worrying about aren't gonna just happen as an effect of that. And it's just kind of getting to the point where I said to someone sent me a video the other day, and it was like being a business owner is saying it will get better next week and just saying that every single week.
yeah,
And I think that like the stress will never ever like life will always be stressful. Like it just always will. And it's your ability to like cope with it and just learning to go, you know what? I don't need like I'm feeling the stress about the things that I've said yes to. I don't need to feel this stress. I'm just not going to waste, and it takes time to get to this because I'm certainly not there yet. But I do get to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm actually just going to have my evening. The worst case scenario is that someone has to wait an extra day for a reply or a rehab plan, but I actually feel more like a human being. Like that, what like I just don't need to worry about it. Like I just don't. And if they email me and say, "Where's my rehab plan?" I'll go, "Hey, I'm really sorry for the delay. Here it is." They're not going to say anything, and you're
yeah.
getting all worked up about like this thing that hasn't even happened yet, which I do a lot because I set an extremely high bar for myself, and my partner will say the same because I expect the same from him. I
Thank
set
God you found. Thank God you found this partner. Thank God I found my wife because if I did not, I'd be like, oh, because my wife does not. We have weirdly different neuroses. Like my wife is super worried about like cyclospora outbreaks in vegetables, and I'm like, I don't give a shit about that at all. But like, I'm worried about like atomic warfare and just catastrophe. So like, thank God that she's got her own things and I have mine, right? So I feel you there.
I will say that like me and him both are both neurotic. So it when
Hmm.
it's the same as the businesses, when it's good, but when it's not. And it's nice to have somebody who I think like it's like the whole like you are the five people you surround yourself with. Like all of my friends as well, people who like training in the gym, you're surrounded by people who are like working to be their best selves. So it's
Yeah.
like kind of like the bar's here and you're slotting yourself in. So I find that it's quite an easy thing to like hold yourself to that standard when, everyone was also like having a lot of support around you, but like he will be like, yeah, no, I expect you to have that high standard too. And it's not a bad thing to have that. But yeah, it's definitely, I definitely would love to not be stressed and worried about stuff. But as everyone says, pressure is a privilege. So
Yeah. I mean,
go
and
that
I think you're. I want you to send me the Harada Square. I DM'd you that, so please send me that. I'm working on
way.
that. But I mean, it's you're getting experiences and you're learning from them. It's just the key is to get back to the stuff that matters in the moment, right? And then keep learning, right? Like that's rehab, that's life, it's business. It's just, it can. I think this is one of the things I'm working on telling myself. It's like I kind of have always been like things are hard and I have to overcome the hard. Whereas a lot of people are like, I mean, it's like actually no, it's like it can be easy. You just have to like tell yourself that story.
Oh my God, it's the same thing as we were saying. If you tell people about like their rehab and how powerful their mind is,
Yeah,
it's if you think it's hard, it will be hard. And I saw something the other day, and it was like if you whatever you think is true. He's
yeah,
like that's one
exactly.
thing. That's a hill I'll die on. Whatever you think is true. If you think it's going to be hard, it will be. If you think it's going to be easy, it will. If you think you don't deserve it, you don't. Like it's whatever you write yourself. And so when people come in and they're stuck in that victim mode of being like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do this. It's like, well, no, you're never going to be able to do that. And sometimes you just gotta like give yourself a little metaphorical slap in the face, be like, get a grip, you're
Yeah.
absolutely fine, just get on with
Well,
it.
you look at little kids. I have a almost 2 year old, and I look how he interacts with life, and it is just like do the thing and like play, and it's like
No thinking involved. They
we
just
we
do.
intellectualize everything, and it just gets in our fucking way. And it's like no, just like go do the thing and figure it out, right? It sounds so simple, but and it can be that simple. Darcy, I this has been super fun. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram. My handle is at DA Sports Therapy with two Y's because someone else took the one with one.
That's okay. I didn't even notice that. See, that's how powerful the brain is. You don't see it, right? So,
Right.
uh, no, I love I've this has been a really fun conversation. Thanks for just vibing out and allowing me to go on my own bullshit rants, and I appreciate you a
I
ton.
enjoyed it. It was really fun. Thank you for having
I'll
me.
have this up soon. I'll link your stuff in the show notes, and then I'll maybe message you about tagging a few things. But I appreciate it. Have a good rest of your Thursday. Okay.
Thank you. You have a great rest of your day. Started off nice and
Thanks.
early.
I appreciate it.
Bye.